Right, here it is, the most anticipated package of the summer. Been waiting for this for days. It's supposed to be factory mount thumb for my Mahindra Max 26B backhoe that I've got on my, what do I got? An eMax 25S, I think it is. Anyway, so if you got one of these, you've been looking for a backhoe thumb. What I did was I originally ordered the John Deere version from BXpanded, which has the exact same bucket, and it was really close to fitting. The only real issue was with the kind of like the stick that adjusts the thumb. And so I worked with Ryan over there, and he made me a custom one. Hopefully he'll start selling the sets or the kits for these if he gets enough interest. So more about that later. Alright, so I opened up the box and I was surprised to see a whole new kit. I had thought that he was just going to send me these two pieces in a different length because everything else seemed to work. But looks like what he did was he made a custom thumb. You can see that the mounting hole is located in a different spot for this application. So I'm excited to see if that makes a difference. It seemed like it would have worked with the hole where it was, but you can see that I was also messing around with different hole placements. That's why I had that tape on there. I was trying to just see where I thought maybe a better location would be. His is, you know, basically in the same spot, just a little bit different. So I'm pumped to see how it works. Oh, and I see I got silver paint this time, which is pretty sweet since that would match a little bit better there. Nice job, Ryan. All right, so here's the John Deere kit compared to this custom kit that they made for my Mahindra. This was one of the biggest problems, was this was way too wide. This is the John Deere one. It was way too wide to fit inside of my mount here. So they made a thinner one for me, and they also made it longer. So I guess the hole on mine's probably further up the stick. And this other piece looks pretty much the same except for the length. All right, let's get it put on. Okay, so I installed the arm here, and I just collapsed it all the way, stuck the pin in, and then put this top side in here. Wow, there's a lot of play there. More than I expected, but might not be an issue. Alright, I don't really have any way to work and record at the same time, but I'm going to take this bolt out. There's a little nut back there. Just going to take that off. Pull this bolt out. That's going to allow me to push this pin back through the other side to, we're going to replace this pin with a longer one. That way it'll have some extra sticking out here for the thumb to attach to. So you can see here, I'm just using a bolt to pound this pin out. So just hitting the head of that bolt, pushing the pin through. Alright, so here you can see the difference in the pins. The old one's considerably shorter, obviously. Alright, so ideally before you get started, you want to have the bucket sitting in a position so when you knock the pin out, it kind of stays where it's at. But I've done this a few times, and at least to me that's almost impossible to do, because you think that the teeth are going to want to sit flat, but it's not true. They want to sit up a little bit, and I don't know, it always seems to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and fire it up and try and get it adjusted where they line up real easy. There is also a washer that goes in between there, and chances are that's going to fall out, and then you'll need to make sure you get those put back in when you reassemble it. So it turns out the new pin I got was big. I couldn't get it to slide in. So I didn't want to have to wait and send it back, so I made this ridiculous contraption. I couldn't think of anything I could fit the pin in to spin it so I could sand it down. So I found this cylinder hone, zip tied it around it, and it actually worked. I've done this whole end and it slides in nice. I got to do the part that was clamped. All right, one tip I want to give you guys if you're doing this is that putting this pin in can be a little bit tricky. You know, you've got you got to get it through the thumb, through the bucket. Then the hard part is really through the washer here and then into the stick. Then you got to do that all again on the other side. One of the things that I've learned to do, doing this a few times, is to come around and put your old pin in, because it's kind of easier to line everything up going this way. So use your old pin to get through the thumb, bucket, washer, and into the stick on this side first. Then come around and tap your other pin through. And one other tip is that you want to really make sure that this pin is in the right position before you get it, you know, all the way in there. So don't forget to get your pin lined up first before you tap it in all the way. Okay, so once I got my pin through, put my retaining bolt in, then lifted the thumb up and put, you know, connected it to the arm there. So nothing's tightened up yet, but got it installed, tighten everything up, and then we'll test it out. Okay, well here it is installed, and I put up in this position because you don't want to forget to throw some grease in there. You got your new pin in, probably needs to be greased, and I went ahead and hit up all my other Zerk fittings, greased everything while I was at it. Probably should have done that a long time ago. I use my backhoe in the water a lot, so I'm kind of feeling like I should have been on that a little bit more. Anyway, I'm going to fire it up and give it a test, see where we're at. All right, here is the most open position, and I gotta say that's pretty awesome. I was really hoping for this where you could use the thumb to kind of, you know, get under stuff, having it kind of almost in line with the stick. That's pretty cool. So I'm really happy with the adjustability of the thumb at this point. I think I'm gonna go out and try to grab some stuff. Alright, first attempt went pretty good. This is just a little rock that I kept hitting with my mower. So I'm gonna come snatch it up, give it an easy test. First try was pretty simple. So we'll take this somewhere. Alright, these rocks have been here since I got the place. I don't think I can lift this one up, but I bet I could use that thumb to get under here and flip it over, which might be nice, and then maybe I'll take a shot at that little one right there. Yeah, super cool tool, just to be able to get under stuff so much easier and have more flexibility to maneuver things. So far I'm thrilled. So that little rock was actually broken in half, so it's not that big, but dang, look at this. Look how this thing is hovering on there. It's like one tooth there. Just want to see if there's any deflection or anything. Gosh, it looks pretty awesome. I'm sure this one's way stronger than the one that you can get through Mahindra. And it bolts up right in place, super easy, less expensive, stronger. I mean, I don't know what more you can ask for. That's awesome. Here, see if I can grab this little one out from underneath the pile here. Doesn't look like it. Let's see if I can get some more juice. It's definitely not the thumb's problem. that could definitely be useful. Cutting firewood and stuff. That's awesome. Alright, one more thing I wanted to show was the clearance when everything's fully closed up. So you got plenty of room there when everything's, when you have the thumb in the fully open position, I guess it would be, bucket curled, and the stick pulled in all the way. So yeah, I'm thrilled. It's awesome.